Okay, well, it's 9 o'clock, so what I'll do is a brief welcome and introduction to what we're doing here today, and then I'll call on all of our panelists. So again, I'm Randall Friesen with the Washington State Building and Construction Trades Council, and today is our first pilot program of a virtual training tour for 4 of our JATCs that are participating in a Career Connect Washington program that we're working on. Thank you guys for taking the time to join us today, and we're looking forward to showing what our programs are and what our training centers look like. And if you have any questions, make sure that you guys take notes and we'll be able to put them in the chat. Anything that doesn't get answered in real time today, we're going to save the chat and then reach back out with a follow-up. We'll also have a survey that's going to go out after as well. So another point of order kind of thing is to use 2 screens if you can. For our educators, so that you have a chance to watch the tour as well as put your questions in the chat. Again, that is going to be recorded, and we will reach out with answers if they don't get answered in real time today. But the whole idea of our project that we're working on here is that our students have an opportunity to tour our facilities around the state and not have to be there in person, and it allows us to cover more ground and show more projects. So today we have the Western Washington side of the state, and as well as Southwest Washington. We have Jeff Reinhardt with the Western Washington Sheet Metal Local Union 66. And we have Seth Thompson with UA Local 26, Plumbers and Pipe Fitters. Then we'll have Rachel Geyer, Pierce County Roofers. And then we have Bridget Quinn from Local 48, IBEW, down in Southwest Washington. So with that, the order we're gonna go in is Bridget, and then it'll be Seth, and then Jeff and Rachel after that. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Bridget for IBEW48. She's going to show a brief video, and then make sure that you take notes and ask questions at the end. And I'll be moderating it so we don't run out of time. So with that, Bridget, take it away. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Thanks everybody for joining us. My name is Bridget Quinn. I'm an electrician with the NECA IBEW Electrical Training Center in Portland. I'm going to share a video with you that'll take you through a tour of our training center. Please note down any questions that you might have, and I'd be happy to answer them. And testing them out. Students also learn the electrician's art form of conduit bending. Conduits are empty pipes that electricians install so they can route and protect their wiring throughout the building. Sometimes pipes can run in straight lines, but oftentimes the electrician needs to fabricate bends so they can route the conduit over and around obstacles or change elevation and direction. Principles of trigonometry are applied to determine the bend and the distance between bends. Wire pulling labs are set up so apprentices can get first-hand experience in the safe installation of electrical conductors.
CRAFT certification was created by the Electrical Training Alliance as a way to verify the combination of skills and knowledge of electrical workers. Spanning a wide variety of tasks that every electrician must perform at a high level, apprentices at the NIETC are tested on their abilities after each 2 terms of school, approximately every 2,000 hours of on-the-job experience. The testing includes installations using realistic timeframes, job specifications, and blueprints. Actual materials and equipment are used and is scored based on real-world standards. Residential electricians perform all the electrical work needed to provide power to a home. There are low voltage systems like data cabling, phone lines, speakers, and security, as well as the higher voltage systems, such as this 120-240 volt service installation, which includes all the power cabling and all the devices needed to live comfortably. Electricians learn to install all these systems as new construction, and also must learn about service and repair of older systems in homes, such as this knob and tube wiring installed in lath and plaster, compared to this newer non-metallic cabling system.
The Limited Energy Program provides individuals an opportunity to build systems that are part of the electrical industry. The systems that technicians work with are integral for businesses to operate. The LEA installs cabling, terminates cables, builds out equipment, tests, programs, and services each system. Fiber optics installations provide the connections with the world's economy. Data cabling makes connections to the computers and any internet devices. Security systems provide business verification that their material and ability to operate are safe. CCTV provides visual connections for surveillance of equipment and workers. Fire alarm protects a building and individuals by the use of sensors and outputs that alert to occupants and/or triggers other systems.
In the first part of their third year, inside electrician apprentices take their grounding and bonding class, where they learn why electricians ground and bond electrical equipment and systems per the guidelines of the National Electric Code. They learn concepts such as interrupting rating and how to apply it to overcurrent protected devices such as fuses and circuit breakers. Apprentices also learn about short circuit current rating and how that applies to electrical equipment to ensure a safe and code-compliant installation. Hands-on labs are part of the curriculum, where they learn how to properly use compression-style crimping tools and practice exothermic welding to connect conductors together for the grounding system. Classroom calculations and labs are introduced as they learn how to properly size all conductors and the required grounding and bonding to install a transformer. This class also covers the special chapters in the National Electrical Code, addressing the more robust and/or restrictive requirements for special occupancies. This includes hospitals, hazardous locations such as gas stations, and special equipment that electricians will install and wire out in the field, like cranes and signs.
And here we are in our motor and motor controls classroom and lab. Motors and motor controls is coursework intended to introduce students to motor theory and motor control concepts. The course is provided to our inside electrician apprentices near the end of the third year of their program. Coursework is split between class time and hands-on laboratory exercises. Class time focuses on motor theory, motor design type, code-compliant sizing of motor circuit conductors, as well as proper selection of overcurrent protection for motor installations. Additional class time is spent studying motor control circuit design, installation, analysis, and troubleshooting. Lab time provides the apprentice with hands-on experience installing control circuits that utilize components and devices that the apprentice is likely to see in the field. Troubleshooting problems in a control circuit is an additional focus of lab time. Upon completion of the term, an apprentice will have a solid foundation of skills relevant to motor and motor controls that they might build on in their career as an electrician.
Our curriculum for lighting controls includes an in-depth look at both centralized and networked programming philosophies. Students have a chance to design and implement the controls in various blueprint projects, as well as an opportunity to see the systems via demonstrations. Students learn about different methods of communication within a control system, including Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and hardwired applications. The HVAC lab, set to be completed summer of 2022, will provide apprentice and journey level students with a hands-on look at HVAC control concepts, programming, input and output devices, terminations, and a basic understanding of refrigeration cycles through the use of commercial heat pumps and terminal units.
Welcome to the Programmable Logic Controllers Lab. This is where the students get their own station to program lights, motor starters, relays in a way that they can interact with controls that they would see out in the industry. As for real world applications, they get to see motors running. They get to see contactors and starters pull in. They get to see lights flashing and HMI screens update. This is one of our robots. They don't get to program at this stage, but they do get to see what the robot can do and how to wire it out in the field. Another one of our systems is a complete robotic packaging machine. This is something that actually packs boxes into another box to provide the real world exposure to packaging out in the field. Inside the control cabinet, they get to see the components. These components consist of relays and timers and motor starters and different types of motor controls. This is our instrumentation lab. Welcome. Instrumentation is the process of calibrating instruments that include calibrating of level, flow, pressure, and temperature. This is one of our systems that they get a chance to calibrate. In this system, they get to calibrate valves, solenoids, transmitters. This is what we call a dead weight tester. This tester is used for high pressure calibrations.
Our apprentices complete a full term of fire alarm in this lab. Fire alarms are a life safety system and can be quite complex. In class, students learn everything from design requirements and processes to actual layout and installation of the detection and notification of the system. Fire alarm systems incorporate most building automation at some point, from elevator control, HVAC systems to automatic doors and security. Fire alarm is very hands-on with multiple labs throughout the term. At the lab stations, students wire at the panel to the detection devices and to the notification devices. We turn on the panels and fully test the system for that daily lab at each lab station. There is one term project students will design and lay out for a fire alarm system to show the progress throughout the course. The fire alarm term is very practical, and the knowledge gained each day can be applied straight into the field. At the end of the course, we want the students to have a better understanding of how fire alarm systems operate. Inspecting, testing, maintaining, troubleshooting, and installation of fire alarm systems are foundational skills that students will be able to take from this term and apply to meet the needs of our customers.
You can find a lot of useful application information at nietc.org. Be sure to check out our orientation video before you apply, which you can do on our website. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We hope you enjoyed your tour at NECA IBEW Electrical Training Center. Take good care.
Great video, Bridget. So there, we do have a minute or so for one question. I see that Nicole Mathis asked, after the apprenticeship training in all the different areas, are apprentices allowed to obtain more training in a specialized area?
Yeah, absolutely. As electricians, in order for us to maintain our license, we need to take continuing education classes. We need 24 credits every 3 years to maintain our license. And among those classes, you can take any kind of specialization class. There are some requirements. We need to take some specific classes like code change, electrical code change classes. But then any of the other classes you can take that are specialized. We're an industry where you're always learning. So tech's always changing. There's always new cool things to learn about.
Cool. Well, if anybody else has any other questions, please put them in the chat. With that, we're going to move on. Thank you, Bridget. Great job. With that, we're going to move on to Seth Thompson from UA Local 26, Plumbers and Fitters. So his tour is going to be a little bit different. He's going to walk through, and please keep the questions coming. So with that, take it away, Seth.
All right, thanks, Randall. We're going to really test out our Wi-Fi today, so hopefully it works out well. As you can see behind me, there's not a lot of people in the parking lot. And that is because we run class from 6 to 9 p.m. Mondays and Wednesdays. Sometimes we run class on Tuesdays as well as Saturdays, but we do not run day school. So The facility is going to be empty today. I'm going to walk through and give you guys a really quick tour. If you are interested in doing a more extensive normal tour, feel free to contact us. We'd be happy for you to come in. Our facility is open from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. You can come in and we'll take you on a more extensive tour, answer your questions, and do all that. I guess I should go back to introductions. My name's Seth Thompson. I'm the training director for Greater Western Washington Pipe Trades. We run plumbers, pipe fitters, HVAC, refrigeration. We're widely across Western Washington. We have 4 training centers, and this is one of our training centers. This is our Lacey Training Center. So I'm going to take you on a quick tour. I'm going to flip the screen around and hopefully I catch everything. If you have any questions or if I missed something, make sure to put it in the Q&A. So let me flip this around here. All right, so walking through our facility. As you get inside, we have a business office and the training center all in one facility. So our business office, which is our local 26 officers, are over here, but the rest of the facility is all training. So as we walk in here and the lights click on, you will see a lot of different options. People get lost here all the time. All you would need to do is turn to the right and we can answer any questions here. All of our applications are done online. You would need to go to our website at gwwpt.org. All right. So as I walk you guys through, a lot of hallways, hopefully I'm not moving too fast. We partner with Milwaukee Tools, as well as a lot of other suppliers. This is our chip program. Essentially, students earn chips in class, and for good performance, good attendance, things like that, they can return the chips in and pick some tools out of the tool bin there. So this first classroom here is our drawing plan reading class. As I walk in, hopefully the lights click on here. There we go. So you'll see plan tables, a lot of blueprints in the back. We do Bluebeam, Revit, CAD. The next classroom specifically is for CAD and Revit. It's mostly computers in here. And as you'll see, if I can, of course, our lighting system. Maybe I need to talk to IBEW. Doesn't click on as quick as I would like. So as you'll see, we have a lot of classroom atmosphere type classes. When this facility was built 20 years ago, the idea was that students would be in a classroom setting, probably have computers in every single classroom, and do training that way. And as all of you know, we do hands-on training, or we do hands-on type job. And so the training would be smarter if we went more hands-on. So that's what we've basically gone to. This other classroom here, I won't take you into it. Well, I'll just peek in there. Well, it's dark as can be. See, it's just a typical classroom atmosphere. We do a lot of classes in here, but then we end up going out to the shop. We've also been transitioning to more hands-on type classrooms, which you'll see next. This is our new plumbing lab classroom. It's a water heater and boiler classroom. And so you'll see pretty much every typical type of water heater or boiler in here, the piping systems. This is all live. We can create troubleshooting faults, different things like that. So we can come in and service them, and we can train on how to do that. Hopefully I'm not moving too fast here. As you can see, there's quite a few boilers and water heaters in here. Also, you might be surprised, but most of our work where we live is in a mechanical room, just like this. So you'll actually see trainers in here. There's a heat pump trainer, backflow training. So we actually do a lot of training in the areas that we're comfortable in, that we do the hands-on type work. Now I got to do the long trek back down the hallways. Most of our other classrooms are very similar. You have your classroom atmosphere, but then there's a lot of hands-on modules and training that is in each classroom. They're all designed for different things. we have so many different variations to our trade that each classroom kind of is trade specific, but they are interchangeable as well. All right, as I continue on, our break room is right here. Although obviously, since we run night class, it doesn't get used a whole lot. Now we're heading down the other hallway, and I'll make sure that I don't spend too much time on this. I want to make sure we can answer plenty of questions afterwards. This is our meeting room. As you can see, it's rather large. We can split it into 2 classrooms with a divider. We also run a lot of classes in here that need more space, and if we need to do it inside. So we'll run like our robotic total station classes, which is Trimble, Leica. And then right now, actually, we've been doing a lot of med gas classes because we have a lot of students in our medical gas training right now. All right, here's a couple of modules that we use. This is your typical little bathroom mock-up with a shower, lav, and a water closet or toilet. This is our plumbing lab. It is a mess, but it gets used probably the most out of any of our classes. As you can see, like I said, we're transitioning more to hands-on type training, which is what we envision as the best form of training. Obviously, there needs to be some sort of classroom atmosphere and classroom training as well as testing, but hands-on needs to be the focus of what we do. This is a tube bending classroom. We also have a virtual welder here that we do use from time to time, but this class is mostly used for tube bending. All right, continuing on. Our last 2 classrooms are a computer lab and just a standard classroom atmosphere. We typically run a lot of plumbing code classes here. There's a lot of code in all of the trades that you'll be seeing today. And so a lot of your classroom atmosphere is that type of training, our plumbing code, backflow, all those sorts of things. This is only one of our 4 facilities. Our Burlington facility is very similar in size and layout. Our Longview and Bremerton facilities, if I can get that one to turn on, there we go. This is just our computer lab for testing mostly. And then we also do run some classes in here. We'll move the tables around depending on what we got to do. Our Bremerton and Longview facilities are a lot smaller, but our Burlington and Lacey facilities are very similar to what you're seeing today. I'm heading out to the shop. Hopefully the Wi-Fi works well. And in the shop is where we do most of our training. We actually have a veterans class that's graduating right now. We run a veterans and piping program. We have for 13 years. We're the first facility in the whole US to start this program. And basically veterans, as they are transitioning out of the military, they go through an 18-week extensive training program. And when they graduate, they get guaranteed placement in an apprenticeship. I'm gonna walk into here, probably not gonna speak much because it looks like they're finishing their graduation. This was perfect timing. So you guys are live right now on a virtual tour for quite a few school districts. This is the graduating class for this year's Veterans and Piping Welding Program. Judd Hildebrandt's our trust administrator. He oversees all 4 facilities. Jeremy Rood is our welding instructor. And this is the next class of graduating VIPs. We have one that's staying here locals, Savannah, say hi. She's getting into our apprenticeship and we're really excited to have her start. I'm gonna take you guys on to one of our typical weld booths, show you what it looks like. We have 18 weld booths. Turn the lights on in here. Here's what your weld booth would typically look like. This is where a lot of our training is done. As you can see, we have quite a few of them. They're pretty large. And that basically completes my side of the tour. Check on time here. All right, looks like I'm running late on time.
Looks great. Great job, Seth. So
here's our braze booth. So that's basically it. Thanks, Randall.
Yeah, so one of the questions that came up was why don't you guys offer day classes? And I know that all the trades are a little bit different, but how does the plumbers and fitters apprenticeship work that way?
That's a great question. So it really depends on each facility and how it works. So part of the reason why we don't run day classes is because besides King County. So it would be really difficult to run day school unless we had one training center at a central location. And we had people come in for, 1 week block training, so to speak. Our sister local 32 in Seattle, they do block training. They just transitioned to that. And, it works well for them because they have one training center for their whole jurisdiction. Because we're so spread out and we have 4 training centers to keep everybody local. That's the reason for doing night classes. That way you can work during the day, get your 40 hours or more per week. And then also, attend class at night. The block training or day school, there, you would be having to, take time off from your job. Every apprenticeship does that a little bit differently, but take time off from your job to go to school for training during the day. So we run night classes. We probably will for as long as I can foresee, unless if we get, more apprentices started and we decide to go to like a more central location. But since we do decide to do 4 and we keep these 4 open, keep people local, we'll run night class for as long as I can foresee.
And what was your, one last time, what was your website? GWWPT.org, is that right? Or what was it?
Correct. Yep, GWWPT.org. That stands for Greater Western Washington Pipe Trades.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
All of our applications are done online, so that you can just go to the website to do applications. None are actually done in person.
Great. Thank you very much, Seth. Appreciate it. That was a good tour. Great facility. And you covered a lot of ground and you hit the timing perfect. So with that, we're going to move on to Jeff Reinhardt from Local 66, Western Washington Sheet Metal. So take it away, Jeff.
All right. Good morning, everybody. So I have a short video that we put together that is a tour of our facility. I'll go ahead and share that now. Welcome to the Western Washington Sheet Metal JATC. This is our apprenticeship training center in DuPont, Washington. We're pretty proud of our building here. This building was built in 2008 and then remodeled to what you're going to see here in 2016, where the whole second story was added and all the classrooms that we're going to be walking through. Come on with me. So as we walk through this building, you're going to see some things that we took on as student projects as part of the remodel. Some of that includes all of the handrail system was done by apprentices. We have display cases that are in the process of being done. We've given these to apprentices as their 5th-year project, as they're leaving the apprenticeship, a way for them to leave a mark on the building that they had, that they did their learning in. Come on upstairs. So as we're walking through, you'll see some of the classrooms that we have. This is one of our lecture halls and classrooms that we started off dedicated to more of our computer things for AutoCAD, Bluebeam, Revit, and more of our technical classes. And it's transformed into one of the ones that we really love teaching out of. Also doubles with a webcam for being able to do online classes and things remote as need be. Just kind of our lunch area up here. Now we're going to walk into where we have our 3 main lecture halls. We have one over here that's dedicated to Smart Heroes. It's a military transition program that is done here in DuPont and in Colorado. For anybody that's in the military that's trying to transition out back to civilian life, they can come here, do 7 weeks of intense training, and then get direct entry into any sheet metal apprenticeship across the U.S. This is one of our other classrooms. All the apprentices are down in the shop. You'll see them here in just a few minutes. So our 3 lecture halls are very similar. We have the Smart Heroes. We have this one that's dedicated to sheet metal. We have the one next door that's dedicated to service, heating and air conditioning, and testing and balancing. So we have 4 different apprenticeships that we have here. One is sheet metal, one is testing, adjusting, and balancing, one is HVAC service, and one is our residential sheet metal program. We'll get into a little more detail on that when we're in the live session, all right? So if you guys want to follow me. So this classroom is most often used for our service and tab, HVAC service and testing, adjusting, and balancing apprenticeships, and for night classes. This is kind of a neat one because we have the cap, the wall caps that was given to the apprentices as a project. These are kind of cool because this one, they did it out of stainless and then hand beat copper into the stainless cutout that they did. This one says Local 66. And this one over here, being the sheet metal workers are known for the amount of noise that they create on a job site. This one says we bring the noise. All right, so let's walk down to the shop. All right, so let's walk out to the shop area out here. All right, we'll get to that. Follow me this direction first. So we're now on the back side of those 3 lecture halls, 3 classrooms. So those classrooms look out over the top of the shop. So this side is dedicated to the service, HVAC service, and testing, adjusting, and balancing. Those 2 apprenticeships. So as you can see, we have lots of different types of equipment, whether it's going to be furnaces, gas furnaces, heat pumps, air conditioners. We have some chillers, we have some refrigeration stuff, we have ice machines, all things like that that you're going to be learning how to work on, how to fix, and how to maintain as part of your apprenticeship. You're going to notice that almost everything looks like it's tore apart. That's part of the learning process, is we have to take it all apart and put it all back together and make it work. So as we're walking through, we're going to start getting into the sheet metal side of the shop now. We have a 3,500 square foot, 2-story building built inside the building here. And the idea is it's going to be a live trainer. You can see that some of it's kind of plasticed off. We have some training going on for fire smoke dampers to stop fire and smoke spread throughout buildings. For some training we're doing. We have class going on right now. So as part of this, we have 20 weld booths where you can do full certified welding training. Right now, this is a 4th year class that is learning how to do stainless finishing. So they're going to TIG weld up something and then polish it all out to where it's set up for food grade, for like kitchen countertops and things like that. We have our CNC plasma table that we just bought a brand new one for this training facility that you'll learn how to use. Our normal shear, press brake. So the mock-up that we're walking around, one of the cool parts about this is the apprentices get a chance to actually work on what would be a live building, just with every architectural feature that they're going to see. Whether it's going to be metal roofing, siding that goes on, it can be gutters, downspouts, all of those things that are part of our trade. And they're in a real life situation where they're going to be up on a roof, where they have to be tied off. They have to be thinking about where their tools are, what can drop, what can't, and how to manage their project that they're working on. So we always like to give props to Milwaukee. They're one of our sponsors here. They provide us most of our power tools and cordless tools that we're using throughout the building. And this is a little tool display we built for them. So this is a group of second-year apprentices that are actually doing some fabrication right now. They're learning how to build gourd elbows. So gourd elbow, real simple, right? Just a round piece of metal. They learn how to cut it at edges, form it, shape it on some of the tooling like you see over here. And then they spot weld the pieces together as you were seeing earlier. So you can see we have basically every kind of piece of equipment that you would have in a fabrication facility, and the apprentices are going to be taught how to use them, how to do it on the automated side where they're using the plasma table, using through the computer CNC, and they're also going to be learning how to do it by hand layout as the industry used to do it. So they're going to learn both ways to do it. Let's continue on. So always like to take our tours and finish them off with our meeting hall. This originally was one of our classrooms before the remodel. Now it's turned into the meeting hall for the union meetings. The cool part about this room is some of the fun things that have been left behind. We had an apprenticeship contest here a few years ago, a regional one, that it was us, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, and Alaska all competed. And we had a vendor fair, and one of the vendors brought this TIE Fighter. Gensco brought it as Columbia Manufacturing, and they left it behind for us just to keep on display. They've never come back to pick it up, and it's just kind of a fun novelty. So with that, I'll see you guys in the live meeting. All right, so I'm back. Thanks for sticking with us on the tour of the building. There was one question that popped up. Oh, looks like it might have got answered about if you got laid off. So to apply for our apprenticeship, real similar to it is with the plumbers and pipe fitters. So you go to our website, which is WWSMJATC.org. And we have an online application right there. You do that, then you'll come in for testing and interviews. And that's one of the ways you can get accepted in. Another possible way to get an entry in, we actually have a summer pre-apprenticeship we do for high school students. I can send some information over to any of the shop teachers or CTE instructors that are interested in nominating a student for that. And then we also have direct entry for anybody that completes the 2-year sheet metal program over at Bates Technical College.
So great job with the tour. The question, if you want to answer it too, I know that all the JATCs are operate slightly different.
Mhm.
But the question that you're referring to is what happens if you get laid off or if you join a trade that's seasonal work?
So in any of the trades, it's very common to get laid off. You know, we're one of the few careers that you're ever going to have, or jobs that you're going to have, that your whole point is to work yourself out of a job, right? As you're building a building. So what you do is as long as you got dismissed just because you were out of work, they ran out of work on the job, you just go on the out of work list and you're waiting to get dispatched to another contractor. And it sounds like it's bad to get laid off. It's actually a good thing. It's a good way to kind of diversify your skill set and give you a chance to work at a few different places and with different people, so you'll learn other ways of doing it.
Great job, Jeff. Wonderful tour. It was a good video.
Thanks. And I'm getting a bunch of requests for our pre-apprenticeship stuff. I'll go ahead and gather up all the contact information and I'll get it out to everybody. All right.
Good job. Thank you.
Thanks.
With that, we're going to move on to Rachel Geyer with Pierce County Roofers, and take it away. You're muted, Rachel.
Thanks, Randall.
Good job.
My name is Rachel. My name is Rachel Geyer. I'm the director for the Pierce County Roofers Apprenticeship Program. And you guys are going to see our training facility today. We are located here on Clover Park's campus. And pretty much I'm going to have my instructor lead the way. So I'm going to go ahead and switch the camera around. And let's go take a look at our facility. So right now I'm walking into the area close to our mock-ups. It's very loud, so I apologize if it's a little hard to hear, but that's kind of our industry. All right, so this is our classroom. This is where all the learning takes place. Classroom learning, I should say. And coffee. So right here is Ryan. Ryan is our new full-time instructor. He's got 19 years of on-the-job experience, and now he is going to train our future workforce. So let's see if I can get this a little bit better focused. All right. It's kind of blurry, but that's okay.
That's the best Wi-Fi signal. So welcome to the classroom. This is our multi-purpose room, our break room, our lunch room, where we do most like the in-class learning that we do have about a week, maybe 9 days worth of actual in-class, and everything else that we do is actually out in the mock-up, and we'll see that in just a minute. It's a far cry from what we used to have. We used to be in a single-wide mobile home with a mock-up that was basically a greenhouse covered with plastic. But we have, we like to, you see the pictures up there, Rachel goes over there. We like to recognize a whole bunch of different stuff that our guys do. We have some artists.
So right here is the artwork from our apprentices that we like to have up on display.
We try not to take ourselves too seriously here. So if you come this way, everybody hear me all right? Yeah, loud enough? Put down my up here. Out here, we actually have our garage where we store our forklift and a lot of the materials that can't get wet. And all of our fancy equipment.
Trying to pan through here kind of slowly.
All
right.
I see we have a whole closet filled with candy, coffee. Got some great tools that you actually will use on the roof. So it's nothing that you wouldn't actually use for a contractor. Oh, we'll go this way. A little less clutter. As you can see, we're coming up to the mock-up. We actually have guys, apprentices working currently today, working on torch down or built up roofing. Looks just like a little roof. All sorts of good stuff.
You'll see Brian here in the background. He is our other instructor for our second year students.
Good. All right. So we also have other mock-ups for like our steep slope roofing, like you can see on an average house or a building with shingles on there. You actually get the hands-on experience of actually repeating and doing it all over again. We do have our kettle for more built-up roofing, and that's a hot tar. You've seen that on Shawshank Redemption. And then our material stores. So we get a lot of it donated by our contractors, and sometimes we get it donated by a manufacturer as well. So it's actually the same stuff that you'll be using on the roof. We actually use it here. All right. So these are our what class A second year apprentices. What they're doing is we have a good old John here torching down. Oh no, wait, that's not John. Jason. Jason. Y'all look the same with your sections on. Oh. So it's one of the few trades you actually get to play with fire. Safely.
This is Jeannie. She's one of our second year students. Playing with a little bit of fire.
So we have all kinds of things we can do here. So as you see, they're mocking up boxes for HVAC curves or anything else. Tons of practice. You tear it off, do it over again, tear it off and do it over again. So you actually get the experience of making mistakes here. So when you do go out and you're working with the contractors, you won't make the mistakes out in the field. You make them here and get it over with.
So because our training facility is a little bit smaller, I'm just going to walk around the mock-up and let you guys get a peek of what our students are doing here in person, getting their hands on. All right. So we got John over here.
Hi, John. Oh, hello.
Hi, John. So tell the students what your favorite part about being a roofing apprentice is.
Tear off. Tear off is the best. Why? Oh, it's nice to be able to get home and take a cold shower after appreciating tear off.
So hopefully you guys can hear him okay. He says he likes to get home and take a shower and kind of wash the roofing off of him. Right. So I'm going to come down here where you can see this is Curtis.
Hold on.
Yes, Curtis, can you tell everyone what you're doing here? He's flashing this wall in case you couldn't hear him. He's kind of quiet.
I'm flashing. Yes. Do you want me to demonstrate? Yes, please. Thank you very much. That's how's that?
He makes it look really easy. All right. Well, just a little bit of our training facility here. Our apprentices go to school for 2 years with a 3rd year of assessments to ensure that they're well-rounded journeymen when they leave our program. So basically here, our training facilities here on Clover Park's campus. And we have a pretty nice training facility. It's hard to see, but yeah. This is the Pierce County Roofers Training Facility, and we will open it up to any questions.
Great job, Rachel. So what area do you guys cover as far as training? And is this your only training facility?
Yes, so in the Pierce County area, we cover Pierce, Thurston, Lewis, Cowlitz, and Wakiacum. That's a hard one to say, but we have one training facility here for our jurisdiction. If you wanted to be an apprentice in our program, we have training agents throughout the Pierce County and surrounding areas, but our training does take place here on Clover Park's campus.
Cool. And I think the apprentice's name was that Josh that said he likes to cool down after tear off.
Yep, that's Josh.
What I heard in that,
Oh, John. Sorry, John. Sorry.
John. What I heard in that is there's a lot of pride and hard work. So kudos to your students, and it's a great trade. It's a great living wage. All these trades today that we've seen are great living wages and family wage jobs. So, is there any other questions we have? I'm going to look in the chat real quick. So one of the questions came up, what do entry-level positions get paid for in each of the 4 specialties? And one other side question is, how long is the training process for roofing?
So our training program is typically about 4 years. It's a 5,000-hour program with 364 hours of classroom instruction. So it's depending on the work that you put in. If you go to work every day, you work 40 hours a week, you could get done in 2.5 to 3 years. If you are the type of person that like to call in and don't really show up on the rainy days, it could take you 4.5 to 5 years.
Cool. And then I know that you could speak specifically to the roofers, but one of the other questions was, what is an entry level paid position? Is there a percentage? Do you guys do 50% of journey worker scale, or how does that work for the roofers?
We start our brand new apprentices with no experience at 55% of what our journeyman wage is, and that's $23.67 per hour. And then you get the benefit of making the Seattle wages, which is just slightly above that when you work in the King County areas.
And then benefit package?
Total benefit package is $34.33, and that includes your medical, dental, vision, training program contributions, and also 2 pensions.
Good job. I totally put you on the spot. Nobody else had to answer the tough one like that. So nice work on your toes.
We actually just got a raise as of February 1st, so I had to think about that a little bit.
Yeah. Well, you did great. So with the other JATCs, I want to make sure we open it up now. If there's any other closing remarks you guys want to make, or anything that didn't get covered. And we still also have a lot of requests in the chat for the pre-apprenticeship programs. So I'll open it up with that. So is there any other questions or any other comments that any of our JATCs on the call today would like to report out? Or
So one thing I'll share with ours, we do have 2 training facilities. One is in Everett, Washington, and the other one is in DuPont, is where our 2 training facilities are located. We do cover all of Western Washington. I'm seeing some questions about starting wage for electricians, other ones. So for the sheet metal side, apprentices start at 45% of journeyman wage, which currently is just a little over $27 an hour. And like all of the other trades, they come with a couple of pensions, 401k, health, medical, all those benefits that go along with it. I'll let somebody jump in.
Yeah, Jeff, if I could add to that, you should have all received a student packet that should have all of our starting wages, journeyman scale, those sorts of things, how much our benefits package are. But also, if you want more information, more detailed information, we'd be happy to provide that with you if you reach out to us.
How are you? So what do we?
Cool. Yeah, and there is going to be the flyers that went out. There's a single one pager for each program that has a lot of that basic information on there. And we are going to follow up as well with a survey later, and some follow-up information. Bridget,
Randall, if I could add one more thing.
Yeah, please go ahead, Seth.
So I noticed a couple times there was some discrepancy on our email. I want to make sure that everybody understands it's info at local26training.org. I saw a couple flyers with an R in there. So go ahead, Randall and Bridget.
Well, I see a question that came up. Is there ever any help for housing when completing an apprenticeship? I know in ours, we do not have any kind of housing. Our apprentices come for a week at a time while they're still working in the trades. And I don't want to speak for anybody else, but typically housing is not something that is dealt with.
And that one also with sheet metal, it kind of depends on what part of the state you're in, right? Because there's other JATC programs that are still sheet metal, but they still do things slightly different. So the thing I would say to that is each JATC operates separately.
Correct.
So for the information here today, it's going to be more specific to who's on the call. So if there's someplace else in the state that you want to go, if you want to go to the Eastern Washington out of Spokane, or work out of one of those other locals, then they might do things slightly different. So, and we can absolutely give you guys information on that too. Bridget, did you want to add anything?
I'm trying to remember what my comment was, that I'm having a hard time. If I think of it, I'll pipe back in. Thanks.
Cool. So here's an electrician question in the chat. How many hours do the apprenticeship work per week? So the apprentices, I'm assuming that's the question.
Yeah, so while students are in school, they'll be working, they'll be coming to school 1 day a week for 10 weeks. And then the rest of that week, they're working as many hours as their employer can provide. So that could be 32, or if they have overtime available, it could be more than that. Then they'll have 10 weeks off where they're just working. And then they come back for another 10 weeks, 1 day of school each day for those 10 weeks. We do provide a $299 check to offset the wages that they lose while they're in school. There was a question about if a student lives far away, do we provide housing? For school, we do. So if a student lives on the outer skirts of our jurisdiction, which is North Oregon and Southwest Washington, then we will put them up in a hotel. When it comes to actual working for a contractor, though, if you have to travel within the jurisdiction for work, that's expected to travel to where the work is.
Thank you, Bridget. So with that, we have a couple minutes left. If there's any other questions you guys want to put in the chat. One parting thing that I would say for everybody on the call today, especially the students, if you're interested in a program, look into as many as you can and see how you want to spend your time, and focus on that and apply for as many as you can. So with these types of jobs and careers, what happens is it's kind of, it's demand driven. So a lot of these programs can't just open the doors like a typical college. So just because you apply doesn't mean you're gonna get in. Don't get discouraged, keep applying, keep looking into them, and apply for as many that interest you as you can, and sit for interviews and all that. So they all operate separately. It's not like the regular college system where you fill out an application and hopefully get accepted, right? So, and as we go further, we'll be sending out more information on what people can do or students can do in preparation for getting into a program and how to move forward with that. So with that, we appreciate all you guys' time today. One last question comes up from apprenticeship students for pipe fitters requires how many hours of school a week? So that one changes a little bit. I came through an apprenticeship program through UA Local 290. We would do 2 nights a week for class. So we do 3-hour nights, so 6 hours a week after work. Seth might be different. They're from UA Local 26. You want to answer that, Seth?
Yeah, I mean, typically a typical week is September through May, we run school. You're working during the day and you're attending class 2 nights a week, Monday and Wednesday from 6 to 9. But it depends on the location. Sometimes we have to do Tuesday, Thursday classes. Sometimes we have to run some Saturday classes, depending on if it's a certification class. But all of the programs you're seeing here today are Washington State approved apprenticeship programs. And so we're required to provide at least 216 hours per year of schooling. And usually you receive about 2,000 hours of on-the-job training per year in a typical year.
Yeah. Well, with that, we're right at 10:01. So thank you guys very much for your time. We're going to save the chat, and we will be doing some outreach and sending out a follow-up survey and the unanswered questions when we dig through all the questions. So thank you guys very much for your time today, and really appreciate you. Thank you. Bye, everybody.